Let's be honest. The TFSA is the most powerful and flexible financial tool in Canada, and most people use it wrong. Some people don't have one at all, and other people think it's just a savings account with a fancy name. And that couldn't be further from the truth. So in this video, we're going to break it all down for you. What is a TFSA? How does it actually work? What should you be doing with it? And more importantly, how can you avoid screwing it up? Whether you're just starting out or already investing, this is a guide you won't want to miss. Let's go. TFSA stands for Tax-Free Savings Account, but honestly, the name's a bit misleading. It's not just a savings account, it's actually an investment account. An investment account that lets your money grow tax-free. Not tax-deferred, but completely tax-free. That's a huge advantage when it comes to building wealth. Sure, you can hold cash in a TFSA, but you can also hold other assets like GICs, bonds, stocks, and even ETFs. Yes, I said ETFs, which means you can hold cryptocurrency in a TFSA as well, as long as there's an ETF for that cryptocurrency. And any money you make in this account, it's completely tax-free and you don't pay a single cent in tax. Ever. You could double or even triple your money and then withdraw it. It would still be tax-free. Not only are withdrawals completely tax-free, but there's no clawbacks and it doesn't affect any GIS or OAS payments like an RRSP withdrawal might do. There are no strings attached. You can pull money out at any time for whatever reason. It's completely tax-free. And that's the power of the TFSA. Now, you may be wondering if there's a limit on how much money you can put inside a tax-free savings account. Unfortunately, there is a limit. The government's not just going to let us put all of our money into a completely tax-free investment account. Aww. But here are the details. All Canadians get contribution room every year, starting with the year in which they turned 18 years old. The 2025 annual contribution limit is $7,000, and if you've never contributed to a TFSA before, and you were 18 years or older in 2009 when the tax-free savings account started, then your contribution limit would be a whopping $102,000. The annual TFSA contribution limit is determined by the Canada Revenue Agency, and it's indexed to inflation. The government periodically reviews the Consumer Price Index and adjusts the maximum annual contribution limit and rounds to the nearest $500. This means that roughly every 3 years or so, the annual TFSA contribution limit will increase by $500. And no, it doesn't matter how much money you make. You don't even have to have a job to have a TFSA. You just have to be at least 18 years or older, have a valid social insurance number, and be a resident of Canada. But here's where people screw up. Contribution room is cumulative, meaning that each year's contribution room stacks on top of the previous year's contribution room. Now you can take money out of the account and withdraw, but you cannot replace those funds until the following calendar year. For example, if you take $10,000 out of your tax-free savings account in April, and then you take $10,000 and put it back into that tax-free savings account in June, boom, you just over-contributed to your tax-free savings account. However, if you were to put that $10,000 back into the account in January, you would be just fine, and of course, you'd still get your annual contribution limit room for that year as well. Now, this really only applies if your tax-free savings account is already at the maximum. So if you only have $10,000 in your tax-free savings account, but your total contribution room is $102,000, then by all means, you can take out $10,000 and replace that $10,000 in the same year, because that would only be $20,000 of your $102,000 limit. I can't stress this enough. It is very, very important to make sure you keep track of your contributions to your TFSA, because the CRA will tax you at a 1% per month rate on the highest excess balance over your maximum contribution limit. So be careful. Now, you can always check your TFSA contribution room on the CRA website using their My Account feature and then logging in with your personal details. But be wary, the information and data on the CRA website is only up to date to the current calendar year, but not including that calendar year. So for example, let's say that you've contributed $95,000 to your tax-free savings account in 2024, and you can contribute up to $102,000 in 2025. If you've gone ahead and placed that extra $7,000 into your TFSA in 2025 to hit your 102,000 maximum, when you log into the CRA website and use their My Account feature, it will still say that you're at $95,000. That $7,000 will not be counted until the following calendar year in 2026. So, as a best practice, it's my opinion that you should just keep track of your own contributions. That way, you just avoid the headache and the mess, and you don't have any sort of mistakes or over contributions to your tax-free savings account. Since I'm such a nice guy, I'll help you out. I'll place a link in the description below to a TFSA contribution room calculator that I find always comes in handy.
You're welcome.
All right, let's talk strategy, because the real flex of the tax-free savings account is long-term investing. Well, hopefully you get some bigger gains than that. But anyways, so not treating your tax-free savings account like it's a high-interest savings earning 2%. In fact, I personally use my tax-free savings account strictly as a retirement account. I've never withdrawn, not even once, from the account since I've opened it, and that's how you build real, lasting wealth that continues to grow and compound tax-free. The smart play is to use your TFSA to hold investments that actually grow, like the stocks and ETFs that I mentioned before. Because the TFSA is so versatile, you can either open a self-directed tax-free savings account, meaning that you're in complete control, you make all the financial decisions, and you choose what investments to hold within it, or you can open a managed TFSA, which is usually another financial institution that will manage those investments and make all the decisions for you. Personally, I think the self-directed option is the best, and that's what I opted to choose when I opened my TFSA with Wealthsimple, which you can see over here. Wealthsimple is a trusted company by millions of Canadians, and the platform is great for beginners. With Wealthsimple, you can buy and sell both stocks and ETFs without paying any fees, and signing up is completely free. If this sounds like something that you might be interested in, we can both earn $25 if you sign up for Wealthsimple using my referral link in the video description below. Let's briefly run through some of the biggest mistakes that I see Canadians make with regards to the TFSA. The first one, as I mentioned before, is using the TFSA like a regular savings account and holding cash or GICs and earning a return that's way below the inflation rate. The second most common mistake is over-contributing to your TFSA. People always forget that if you withdraw the money from the account, you cannot replace that amount until the following calendar year. As I said, please, please, please make sure you track your own contributions. Seriously. The third misconception is that sometimes people think that you can just day trade in your TFSA, make a ton of money, and retire off into the sunset. Although that would be nice, the TFSA is more for long-term investing. If the CRA thinks that you are day trading and running it like a business, they will come after you and they will tax it as an income. And you don't want to fight the CRA. The last mistake I see people make is withdrawing the money way too early. They treat the TFSA like it's an emergency fund or even a save now and spend later fund, Stop raiding your TFSA for small things or short-term things. That tax-free room is gold. Do not waste it. And lastly, I've got one quick tip before we wrap this up. I would recommend setting up automatic contributions to your tax-free savings account. It makes it easy, seamless, and you don't even have to think about it. Even if you can just afford a small amount, those small amounts will add up over the years. Maybe set up your account so that every time you get paid, $50 or $100 goes into your TFSA automatically, and that will really jumpstart your TFSA, and that money will grow over time. Whether you're saving for a house or retirement, or you just want to grow your wealth without handing a chunk of it over to the government, the TFSA is your best friend. If this video helped you understand the TFSA better and how it works, please subscribe to this channel. I've got more no BS Canadian finance coming at you every single week. And if you want to know what investment to put in your TFSA to actually build wealth, well, I'll be covering that in a future video along with the ETF that I personally hold in my TFSA, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching Snackable Wealth, where we help you fatten your wallet one snack size lesson at a time. Always honest, always Canadian. Stay hungry.